Welcome to the Coach Debbie Potts Show, where high performers learn how to stop guessing and start aging stronger, not slower. Your host is Coach Debbie Potts, functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, metabolic health coach, and host of this show. Here, we dive into the why behind fatigue, stubborn weight, hormone chaos, gut issues, and declining performance. Using real data, functional lab testing, metabolism analysis, and simple daily habits that actually move the needle. Whether you're an endurance athlete, an executive, or simply committed to becoming your strongest future you, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
Welcome back to the Coach Debbie Potts Show. Hey, obviously, that's me, Debbie Potts. I am a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, functional nutritional therapy practitioner, metabolic health coach, sort of retired competitive endurance athlete, now just training because I like it. It's fun for me. And I'm also the creator of the Holistic Method and the Future You Blueprint. My mission is to help my fellow high performers, active men and women, and driven individuals who understand how to be fit, maybe healthy on the outside, but I want to teach you how to build health from the inside out as you age by focusing on root cause physiology instead of chasing symptoms. Today, we begin a brand new podcast series. I think I'll call it the Train First series, talking about what I call the flow foundation, creating signals, and what we need to do to improve the future you by working on what we can do today as health optimizers. So let's not wait until we have problems. I have wanted to create this series for a long time because I'm learning all about the vagus nerve, the lymphatic system, fascia, looking at signaling, middle age, what changes, how peptides are so popular. But I think peptides, hormones, we're putting them in the wrong place. We have the right order of operations. So we need to connect the dots, collect clues, put the missing pieces of your health puzzle together again so you can live your best life, your second half of your life, to improve metabolism, gut function, nervous system regulation, inflammation, resiliency, and of course, longevity, quality of life. So we are going to talk about the nervous system, vagus nerve, even a little bit about butyrate I've been diving into lately, peptides, immune health, and more. One of the biggest problems I see in the health and fitness world right now is people are trying harder. I get peptide emails all the time. I see peptides and hormones and these different longevity solutions, but what we're not working on is creating the foundations first, the correct order of operations. Your body's probably already overwhelmed by adding in more, doing more fasting, more exercise, more restriction, more supplements, more detox protocols, more stimulation, and possibly too much biohacking. And I see clients start to feel stuck. They often blame themselves or blame the aging process, think that their body's just broken. This is their new normal. But what if your body's just adapting exactly as it's designed, the messages that you are sending it? And this pretty much changes everything, I believe. As I dive into the why behind everything and looking at what changes as we age, and learning more from my ongoing continuing education and patterns I see with clients, one of the most important lessons I've learned over the years working on high performers and trying to figure out what we can all do now before we have problems as we watch our parents age, people pass away that we love. The terrain determines the outcome. In functional medicine root cause wellness, we hear the word terrain often, more and more lately, and this is referring to the internal environment of the body. So when I talk about being fit and healthy from the inside out, we really should start just talking about that refers to how healthy is your terrain? So if we think about terrain as the soil, healthy soil grows resilient plants. Poor soil struggles to support life. And that's funny. I was just doing our Saturday morning walk around our yard, and there are these plants that have the gnats in them in the soil, and the plants keep dying. It's not the sun, not too shady. They're getting water. I'm spraying them, feeding them, but they're not able to grow because something's in the soil. And ironically, I'm recording this podcast after I just was doing that this morning. This is so similar to human physiology. Our terrain includes our nervous system, our microbiome. We talk about our mitochondria all the time, our immune system, but also our digestion, detoxification, our oxygen delivery. I mean, it just goes on. Bile flow, the lymph, the hormones, the self-communication. I always love to relate to what we learned as FDN practitioners. Reed Davis coined the term metabolic chaos. And I've discovered everything is connected. And when the terrain becomes overwhelmed, the body shifts into this survival physiology. What my goal is to find out what we need to do for you, a unique individual. Where are your area of opportunities so we can take you from metabolic chaos and bring you to metabolic harmony? So we look at the symptoms. And people go see their doctor. We have this list of symptoms and we get a medication prescription and get a treatment. But it might just be a Band-Aid. And one of the biggest mind shifts I want listeners to understand in this series is that symptoms are often clues to me. They're communication that the body's telling us. It's not the body attacking itself, but think of it more as a communication issue. Fatigue, bloating, pain, anxiety, insomnia, even histamine reactions, inflammation in the body. The body is always adapting to the environment that it perceives. So instead of asking yourself, what symptoms do I need to stop? What do I need to treat? What can I get from the doctor or the pharmacy or the drugstore on Amazon? I want you to change that question to yourself and say, hey, let's be curious. Why is the body creating this response? Where is it coming from? And this is how I go down these rabbit holes that I love to do and start investigating on the why, the root cause approach. So first episode, I want to just focus in this series talking about how the body prioritizes survival before repair. Remember, physiology that we have, our physiology is incredibly intelligent, our innate intelligence. At every moment, the brain and the nervous system are constantly scanning the environment and asking these questions. Am I safe? Is there enough energy available? Is there inflammation under control? Is digestion safe right now? Is there a threat around me? How is my environment? Are we getting enough oxygen? Can I repair? Or the big question, do we need to conserve resources? And I've talked about this in recent episodes on the patterns I've been identifying if you're AMPK dominance, sympathetic dominance, a combination of the two, low mTOR. If the answer is that I am sending the signals to my body, the environment, my conditions, the terrain, it is unsafe right now. So what does your innate intelligence do? It protects us and it prioritizes survival. And as a high performer, and I am a retired competitive endurance athlete, triathlons, I did Ironman, and then I did Ironman Hawaii's when I qualified, and then I did other races. I was always busy running my own fitness studio, training clients, running the business, doing health wellness programs. I was doing so much that my body was made me fit and lean and strong, and I did well in my races, but I was teaching it to conserve, to prioritize surviving, not to have optimization over time. I wasn't building any more muscle. I wasn't losing fat weight when I was barely eating and exercising all the time. I was moving. I was running my studio, training clients, teaching classes, and then I would do my own Ironman training 20 hours a week. It wasn't focused on hormone balance and muscle building. It was focused on survival. I never could get pregnant. I've just had my anniversary, been married 19 years. And when I met my husband, I was 35, and I was in the middle of my triathlon career. I know now my body was focused on conserving all resources, put in survival mode. Just as I say often, your phone battery's low, 10% left, it's going to shut everything else down and focus on just surviving so you can send that message, phone call when you need it. This is why I feel so many people will get frustrated because they're trying so hard to get the results they want. They're listening to all these YouTube videos and podcasts and social media messages, what to do. But they're trying to force results while the body is just doing what it's trained to do, to protect itself. And one of the biggest conversations I've been having a long time, and I'm happy to hear more and more people talking about this, the nervous system. Most people think it's just I'm having too many calories, I'm eating too many carbohydrates, too much processed foods. The hormones are the issue. Aging is an issue. But often I'm realizing, with most of my clients at least, the real issue isn't aging or your hormones or your food plan. We need to start with the order of operations, and that can be signaling issues. The nervous system, if you've been listening to this show, digestion, your stomach acid should be the right amount released, breaking down that food and release bile, help with gut motility. The vagus nerve helps with all this. Blood flow, inflammation, immune activation, mitochondria output, hormone communication, help your recovery. But if your nervous system is perceiving danger, what is so fascinating to me that the physiology in response to that danger signal changes downstream. And this is why two people could eat the same, follow the same workout, do all the same supplements, but get completely different results. And that's what happened to me. The train is different. So let's look at analogies. Think about how things happen and put them into ways we can understand. If we think about our history of overdoing everything and trying to do more, and it worked for a while, but over time, things are not working, right? We don't get the results that we want. The body, when I was doing Ironman, I didn't lose any more weight. I was moving and working out, lifting weights, doing yoga. I was doing everything thought I was supposed to. I thought I was healthy. I was feeling amazing, but I was in overdrive. And when my body probably started to feel that, hey, this is too much, we're getting the danger signals, my nervous system was responding. And we were put into survival mode, sympathetic dominance, and into this AMPK dominance we talk about. If we think about the flooded basement analogy, if you imagine your basement is flooding, water's everywhere, your electrical system is going to be malfunctioning, the walls are getting damaged, the foundation becomes unstable, probably getting mold. Now if someone walks in and says, hey, I think we should redecorate the upstairs living room. That's what aggressive optimization can look to be, similar to your own body's train when it's unstable. Why don't we focus on the foundation? If the foundation's unstable, the walls are crumbling, everything's malfunctioning. Should we start building and remodeling the house above the foundation on top of it? No. Before we do any health optimization, I'm working with my clients to create safety first, improve the flow foundation, and improve drainage, nourishment, oxygen, blood flow, bile flow, stability. Get the nervous system regulated, build resiliency, control inflammation, and restore the communication, those signals. This is why I am trying to preach and get out there and speak about this energy before effort. I want you to feel safe before we work on fat loss, and we are going to work on your capacity before intensity. And this is why I see so many high performers get stuck, especially my endurance athletes. They don't even really reach out for help. They just think they're fit and strong. And I probably won't hear from those endurance athletes until they are broken down. They're not health optimizers. I was focusing on this niche when I first started my practitioner business, that I'm going to help the people that are similar to me. And you know what I've learned over the last 6 years? Athletes that are competing don't want to invest in their health. They just want to invest in their bike, their equipment, maybe some recovery tools, but they're not understanding what they're doing slowly to their system, to their signaling, to their microbiome, to their gut wall lining. And then there's entrepreneurs, people that are busy professionals taking care of their kids, their parents. In middle age, there's a lot going on. And then we have the type A to AAA personalities, and those that similar to me, and I don't feel I'm type A, AAA anymore. I mellowed out since 2020 when we moved our life. But chronic stress survivors, many of us have been trying to heal the same stress chemistry that contributed to the breakdown, the problems you see now. You're giving it more stimulation, more output, more pushing, but the body can already be saying, I cannot safely adapt to adding more stressors right now. And if we ignore those signals too long, the body gets louder. It's telling you more red flags, more fatigue, more inflammation, gut issues, hormone issues, sleep, metabolic resistance. But you know what? The symptoms are not random. The body's adapting to the signals you have been giving it for so long. What I want to teach you is about signaling. The body's constantly communicating. And I find this fascinating. I keep going down this rabbit hole to learn more about signaling. We've got the neurotransmitters, hormones, cytokines, peptides we keep hearing about, vagus nerve stimulation, inflammatory, oxygen, all this stuff. Health is coordinated communication, metabolic harmony. Disease, or dis-ease, we hear from Reed Davis, often reflects disruption in our communication, metabolic chaos. And what's so fascinating to me is how the microbiome also participates in this communication network that we'll get to talk about the role of butyrate in signaling even. The microbes in our gut, we're almost the host to this microbiome. They're not passive passengers just hanging out. They are involved in actively signaling about our immune system, the brain, the nervous system, the gut lining, metabolism. And so as we go through this series of the train theory, or the train foundation, it's not even a theory about butyrate, short chain fatty acid, the vagus nerve signaling I want to dive into more, about peptides. I have 2 peptides actually in the fridge that I was sent, and I am working on order of operations peptides, but because they're not for human use, they're only for research studies only, I have to learn or do have someone help me in person, figure out the water and the mixture of it in a syringe, because it's very intimidating. People hear about all these peptides, but if they're in a syringe and you're injecting them into your body, don't you want to know that they're a good source, third-party tested, heavy metals, no glyphosate, and that you have to mix it the right amount and you're injecting your body? It's not so sexy as you hear. I think that's pretty scary. So today I just want to talk a little bit more and we'll wrap up, trying to keep these short. The train first is a different strategy. We will be talking about how to calm the system first, support safety physiology, improving your flow, that I call the flow method, restoring digestion, stabilizing your blood sugar, improve your mitochondria, resiliency, my word of the year, improve nervous system regulation, the balance between your sympathetic nervous system, your low frequency, and your high frequency, your parasympathetic. I want support drainage pathways. How's your liver and bile, and how are you draining out those toxins through your stool, through your pee, through sweating, breathing? And we're going to work on reducing inflammatory overload and rebuild your resilience slowly. Instead of fighting your body, we want to support the body. Instead of forcing your body to adapt, I want to teach you how to create the conditions needed to heal. And this is a different strategy, but this is what will change everything. So, does your body feel safe? What are you doing to make it feel safe? How are you taking care of your environment? How are you cleaning up everything? What are you doing to improve the right signals? Am I exercising in a balanced way, working on strength, cardio, sprints, mobility, stability? Am I creating a strong morning routine to optimize my sleep-wake cycle? Am I getting out in fresh air throughout the day? Am I moving every hour? Am I hydrating with water by itself that's filtered, or am I adding some minerals in there? Do I have enough electrolytes, minerals, balancing my minerals? We're not trying to do more, but I feel that we can listen to the symptoms a little bit more and those red flags, what our body's telling us, and pay attention. Don't wait until you have problems, as I did. But that I was thinking I was thriving for years, but I was just slowly breaking down. And if I reflect on my years before I had my burnout and breakdown and spent the afternoons napping instead of going for a bike ride, I can see the progression towards what we say HP axis dysfunction in my cortisol levels and everything being super elevated to where I started to get help. I was down low. Everything was broken down and burned out my body. So in my series, I want to help you understand the flow foundation, working on the nervous system, bile, the drainage, the blood flow, the oxygen, mitochondria, and why just having a stagnant physiology creates stagnant health. So if this helps you, please share this episode with friends, someone that might be struggling, that might be a health optimizer and doesn't want to struggle. Ideally, we're doing all this beforehand to keeping our train healthy and happy and our body flowing, not getting that stagnant condition. And managing our stress, becoming more resilient, understanding how the body's collecting information. And if we want to create metabolic harmony, we need to start improving the train and understanding the gut-brain connection. If the brain is the central command center, interpreting all these incoming signals, threat, instability, inflammation, infection, overwhelm, it's going to prioritize survival physiology over repairing anything. And this is so important because the brain does not differentiate what is physical stress or perceived stress. To the nervous system, your overtraining, your chronic fasting and dieting can be the same as mold exposure, unresolved trauma, gut issues, chronic infections, parasites, mast cell activation, environment, toxins. These all add up into that beaker of stress and send a signal to your brain saying, danger, danger, danger. And when this happens, the body reallocates resources. The hypothalamus activates that stress response that happened to me. Sympathetic nervous system output is stimulated. Cortisol is released, adrenaline, noradrenaline, the inflammatory signaling changes, and blood flow is redistributed because the body's starting to ask, where do we need energy for the most areas for us to survive? Where do we need energy the most for us to survive? It's going to shift resources away from digestion, away from repairing and rebuilding, reproduction. Why I never could get pregnant. Long-term metabolic health, detoxification, recovery. Instead, the body is sending energy for you to survive to the muscles, to blood sugar mobilization, to rapid energy production, to defend inflammation, to help prepare for war, survival readiness. And when I see people having gut issues, digestion issues, the nervous system's perceiving danger. So your digestion is not going to function right. It's saying it's not the safest time to focus on digestion right now. So then we're going to see bloating, acid reflux, constipation, diarrhea, poor nutrient absorption, food sensitivities, and gut inflammation. Remember, the immune system is deeply connected to the nervous system. So when your brain perceives any danger, we might hear about this word cytokine. Cytokine signaling can increase when we hear danger. Mast cells may activate. The inflammatory pathways increase vigilance, and the immune system becomes more reactive. So inflammation is often part of our response team, a protective response. The body's just trying to defend, to contain, to adapt, and just survive. Then those poor mitochondria that were supposed to be creating energy, they're getting the message that there's threat. So energy production may result in that decline. Let's talk about that cell danger response we've done episodes on. You might see an increase in oxidative stress. Metabolic flexibility can decrease, so you're burning more carbs and fat. Fatigue may be increased because you're not creating as much energy, ATP. So your exercise tolerance may decrease because you just don't have the energy. Your body, as your cell phone on low battery response, is not functioning. It's low power mode because the body's intentionally reducing output to preserve survival. And remember, the gut brain microbiome connection is pretty fascinating. We've talked on episodes about the gut environment producing LPS, endotoxicity, inflammatory cytokines, histamine, microbiome, leaky gut. This is all the nervous system might be sending messages to the brain that the environment's not safe. And this is why gut dysfunction and the nervous system are so interconnected. So the goal is not to just relax more, calm down, chill out. It's about restoring the signaling messages and finding safety. The body will heal when it perceives nourishment, safety, stability, creating rhythm, recovery capacity. And this is the foundation of our train first physiology. So I am here to guide you, to teach you about this train first physiology. Remember, it's about asking your body, what do you need in order to feel safe and to adapt so we can respond? And I think of it as a bank account, that your body's constantly managing your energy deposits versus withdrawals. So we've got sleep, nourishment, recovery, oxygen, digestion, safety signals. These are all deposits. But how many withdrawals are you taking out every day? Stress, inflammation, overtraining, poor sleep, toxins in your environment that you might not even know about, emotional overload, relationships, toxic energy robbers, and underfueling. These are all withdrawals from your bank account. If your withdrawals are constantly exceeding your deposits, your body again is shifting to that production mode. So if you feel fatigued, inflamed, your weight won't come off, your hormone disruption, gut dysfunction, poor recovery, I know what it's like. It's not giving in, waving the flag. I'm done. My body's broken. This is just me. But knowing that we can take ownership and we can guide you with the right program. So reach out if you have questions. We will dive into this more. Head to debbiepotts.net. Remember, the future you blueprint is built with the signals that you are creating today. So don't wait. I want you to stay curious. Keep investigating. Doing your best to be fit and healthy from the inside out as you age. Ideally, we test and not guess and figure out what is best for you. So thanks for listening and being curious about how you can live your best life, your second half of your life, and thrive as you age and not struggle. I'm here for you. If you like these topics, please share. If you can leave a review, that would be amazing. Help us grow this podcast. Talk soon. Take care of the whole you from the inside out.
Thanks for listening to the Coach Debbie Potts Show. If today's episode sparked a light bulb moment, that's your sign to stop guessing and start building your personalized future you blueprint. You can learn more or book a discovery call at www.debbiepotts.net. Be sure to follow the show on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Just search Coach Debbie Potts. 2 T's. If this episode helped you, please subscribe, rate, and review. It's how we help more people age with strength, energy, and clarity. Until next time, remember, age is inevitable. How you age is not.